Okay, hey y'all. There, I got all the dogs in the car. We're at HEB. Oh, and I had heard that if you get gas when it's like cold at night, that you get more gas. So we'll see about that. Hey, guess what? I forgot my freaking wallet. I brought the purse, but not the wallet. Never mind. I found it. It just fell out of my purse. These dogs are freaking out, man. They need some exercise. But see, I don't know for sure what's wrong with Luke, but I just thought, maybe arthritis, because I do run them a lot. We still go out and do our thing, and he likes to run, and I just think he like sprained it or something. I don't know. Okay, but Luke, you ready for the grocery store? And he keeps crying and jumping all over me. Grocery store? Yeah. Yeah, so I heard that gas doesn't smell like gas anymore. I heard that gas doesn't smell like gas anymore, and that that's why it doesn't last long and just runs out of the tank, and I could barely smell it. So I wonder, like, what is that about? And I just put gas in, and it did go down like almost a quarter of a tank, and I hardly drive. This is one of the reasons why I don't drive much, is because of that, which I'm sure a lot of people are, that's how it is. Okay, so we have almost 3/4. So I just got gas, and it was right at a half a tank. So it was almost at a quarter of a tank when I just put in $30. We still have 15 minutes. So yeah, we're at the grocery store. We're just gonna get our stuff, and I have the dogs in the car because I take Luke in because he is my shopping companion and he really loves it. Like, I used to really need him because I had such bad anxiety, and I will say I don't now, but it's just so normal to do it, and nobody cares anymore. Finally, I do love that part, about the way the world is now. No one really cares about anything. They don't care what you look like. They don't care what you're doing, unless you're going online, and then everyone wants to judge you. But in person, just going into the store, no one cares. And then after I get everything home, I'm going to take them out. We get our walk-in. Okay, this clock is wrong. So it's actually 5:52. So we have 8 minutes. And I was going to ask y'all, what kind of music was your favorite when you started jamming? My very first love in music was, guess who? Pat Benatar, my very first one. I loved Pat Benatar. And then, so I was listening to Supertramp, and that was my parents. But I remember hearing that song, Logical. And then, so my next one was Motley Crue, and then it was Metallica and Queensryche. Okay, so you know what? Yeah, I'm at level 54, right? This body. And I am youthful, happy, because I do come from my inner child, right? That's the whole thing about keeping a light heart, and because a child has a light heart because they don't carry the weight of the world on them, right? And that's how I am. That's how we all are. Because anyway, so I see this woman. She's probably around the same age as me. Who knows? But so different, man. She was so miserable and hateful, and she made a point to do that, like project her hate onto me and my dog. And I love Luke. And she looked at Luke with disgust and shook her head and I just don't, man. And I'm just like, wow. Yeah, it was just really like, wow. I wanted to just be like, say something to her about it, because, I want to protect. I feel protective in that moment, and I can be triggered when it comes to my dogs. But you know what? More than that, I'm driving home. I'm thinking, like, you are not like that, and that's a blessing, because what a miserable way to live, and you don't have to live like that. I wish I had a phone holder, but I don't. But there's not much traffic. So, you know what? Don't be that. And I know y'all aren't, because y'all wouldn't be here if y'all were that type, because I only attract good people. But this woman, it's so wild, because, like, it's so early in the morning and everything, and she's like the first person. She was in front of me. And just like, wow, how sad that you're just so miserable that you have to, like, look at, the only other person in the store and look at her dog and just be like, so obviously, like, trying to let me know that you're disgusted by my dog and that you're such a miserable person. Oh, it's so sad, you know, and I'm not that way. And I'll never be that way. My personality is the same as it's always been. I am the same as I've always been, except that I am more. Like I am all the things, and that's the goal is to live from your center, from your inner child. That's the whole idea of the inner child. To have a light heart is to be centered within your inner child, like 4 to 12. That child in you is you, and when you come from that center, that's the light heart, meaning that's how I interpret the light heart meaning is it's like because the heart of a child, because when we're children like that, we don't have the weight of the world on us. We don't have baggage. We just are in the moment and we're light hearted. Man, I just can't. Man, I love myself finally. I finally love myself. I do. I love me. I love being a woman. Well, I love being a woman. And I love that I am staying true to myself. I found my way back to me, and I am not ever going to lose it. And that was weird because it's so early. Like, usually people are always chilling in the morning. And like, I've never had anyone do that before. I've never had anyone look at Luke and do that. I've had people go, oh, they let dogs in here? But Luke's my service dog. He's not a service dog, you know, whatever. It used to be a thing. And I was like, nobody cares. And then all of a sudden, this woman does that. And it's like, oh, wow. But at the end of the day, she was just miserable. I mean, she, like, you can see it in people that are just miserable and hateful. It radiates off of them. Like, they're dark. They look dead, like the Walking Dead. There's no light. There's no color. There's no joy. You can tell happy people and miserable people by the energy. And I am an energy reader. And I used to work in the grocery store for 15 years. I was in sales. And I worked on the floor selling products, right? And talking to people all day. And I would be so drained at the end of the day, and it was because of all of the people like that their energy would affect me. It wasn't the job itself, it was just after a few years of it, it wasn't as fun, but I did it for 15 years. That's what I did. That was one of my just regular jobs. Like, I'm an artist, I sing, I write, I do all the things, but to pay my rent, I went into this job, and I was good at it, honey. So that's one of the things that I did, and I'm glad everything went the way it did, and I am so grateful to be who I am, and that I'm happy, that I have a happy disposition. Okay, so it is 6:43 a.m. Monday, and you know what, after having this little encounter with this woman at the grocery store, she was a negative, mean lady and a shopper, and it just makes me so happy that I am who I am. I have a happy disposition, and I love myself. I learned how to love myself, you know. I started the process about 10 years ago, and you know, I've had some relapses, and then I just find my way back, and I keep fighting and fighting, and it really is more than just what life experiences you have. If you're a good person, you're a good person. You may be hurt, you may be brokenhearted, but you're still, you know, you radiate light. And then there's people that are just like this lady, and she was mean to Luke, and whew, so I'm just grateful I'm not like her. That's all. Okay, so I know how to do energy work, and I know how to transmute a negative into a positive, right? So anytime anything happens, if it's negative, I just transmute that energy into a positive. Or I starve it. I don't give it any energy. I did acknowledge it because it kind of surprised me, but I'm like, you know what? No, honey, that was just a derm attempt. That was demonic influence, because I feel amazing today. It's full moon energy. It's the full moon energy, and I feel amazing. I got food, and we're gonna put it up, and then we're gonna go for our walk.